time about how my husband died and his best friend won't leave me alone. Disclaimers is not my story time, send me on Instagram. My husband and I were married for almost a decade. During that time, we had 2 kids. And of course, his passing was completely devastating to our families. And 2 weeks after my husband died, I was still grieving. But his best friend started coming around our house a lot. First, he was very emotional. Him and my husband were best friends for about 7 years. They saw each other almost every day. Not only did they work together, but they also would go to the gym together and pretty much hang out all the time. So I know this guy really, really well. When my husband would invite him over, I never got the feeling that he liked me. I mean, sure, sometimes I caught him staring at me, but I'm beautiful, so I understand. So after my husband passed, he started coming over as in, I want to take care of you, and we would just kind of cry together. I took this as his way of trying to help my husband, you know, so I just thought he was being really sweet. But exactly 1 month after my husband passed away, he started asking me weird questions. Number 1, do you want to start dating again? Number 2, don't you feel lonely at night? Number 3, you're still so young and beautiful. You need to give yourself a chance with someone else. Mind you, I'm still grieving. To these questions, I would usually say no. Obviously, I mean, why would I even be thinking about those things? I didn't put too much mind to the questions, but a few days later, he came over after he had been at a bar. As soon as I opened the door to him, he said, "Can I kiss you?" And then he did without me saying yes. Part 2 is story time about how my husband died. Story time about how my dead husband's best friend won't leave me alone. Disclaimers are not my story time, send me on Instagram. As soon as I opened the door, he asked me if he could kiss me, and I didn't say anything. And he grabbed me and just started kissing me. Of course, I pushed him away and told him that he needed to leave. That's when he said, "But you didn't say no." I told him I didn't say anything because I was shocked he would even ask me that. That's when he walked into the house without me inviting him, went straight to the fridge and opened up a beer. Then he starts yelling at me for giving him mixed signals. He says that since my husband died, all I've been doing is flirting with him. Since when is grieving flirting? I told him that he was completely wrong and that he needed to leave again. Then he said, "No, I'm not leaving here until you tell me the truth." That I was secretly in love with him and that I actually wanted to be with him. No, this wasn't funny to me at all. He was slurring his words and barely could stand up. I knew my kids were upstairs, so all I wanted to do was get him out of the house. That's when I grabbed my phone and started texting one of my other husband's best friends. I texted him 911, please come to our house now. He responded right away saying, "I'm coming over." After another minute of this guy ranting at me, I told him I was sorry for giving him mixed signals and that was never my intention, blah, blah, blah. Then he asked me out on a date. He said that he wanted to take me out and show me a good time. I said no, and I asked him to leave again, but he wouldn't. Finally, someone knocks on the door. Part 3 is up. Story time about how my dead husband's best friend won't leave me alone. Disclaimers not my story time, send me on Instagram. That's when he asked me out on a date and started walking closer to me. Finally, someone knocked on the door, and it was my other husband's friend who I texted to come help me. I ran over to the door quickly and I opened it. That's when my husband's best friend, who was drunk in my house asking me out on a date, forcing me to kiss him, tells the other guy that he needs to leave. So I asked the other friend if he could just take this guy home. He said, yeah, of course. And he told him, "You're drunk, I'm gonna take you home now." They left together without incident and I was really relieved. But after that, I knew to watch my back now. So here's what happened. He started texting me every now and then asking me if I wanted to go to dinner. And I would not even respond to him. And after that, he started showing up to different places I was at. For example, I go to Pilates classes 5 times a week. This place is near my house. And one day he just showed up trying to take a class. As soon as I saw him, I told the instructor and they kicked him out. That's when he came back and said that he did nothing wrong and that he deserved to be in the class too. He even paid the year up front. So they had no choice but to let him in. Instead, I left. Then he followed me outside to the parking lot and told me that I needed to relax. Said, "It's not like I'm following you," which he clearly was. I got in my car and left. That very same night, he sent me a message apologizing for acting crazy. Then he told me that all he wanted was just to be close to me and the kids. By the way, my kids really do love him. They ask about him all the time since he stopped coming over, and I don't even know what to tell them. After a few weeks of him not acting crazy, he asked me if he could come over and I said yes. I decided to invite all my husband's friends and we had a nice dinner. But again, this guy asked me out. I said no, but my best friend thinks I should give him a shot. He's good looking and rich. What do you guys think?
Am I wrong for telling a friend the real reason why a coworker wants to date him? I, 24 female, have a friend from work, 26 male, Ben. Over the years, coworkers told me that Ben was interested in me, but I brushed it off. When I met Ben, I had a boyfriend who is now my husband. Ben met him and was even invited to our wedding, so the thought of him liking me was ridiculous. I ended up confronting him about it, and he said that he did like me at first, but stopped once he realized I was taken. My husband knows this and is totally fine with it. I never saw Ben as anything more than a friend. 2 months ago, I caught a coworker, Kat, 23 female, crying in the parking lot after work. I asked what was wrong, and she told me that her boyfriend broke up with her and left the country after they found out she was pregnant and she insisted on keeping the baby. Kate is white with blue eyes and blonde hair, and so is her ex. Most people in my country are tan and have brown eyes with black hair. This info was important later on. After the breakup, Kate went out on dates every day. The guys had one thing in common: blue eyes, blonde hair. I joked that she must have a type, but she told me that she was looking for someone to father her baby, so they had to look similar to her ex so the baby could pass as theirs. This horrified me, but it wasn't my place to tell her anything. A month ago, Ben and I had lunch where he told me he started dating Kat. Ben is the only guy in our office with blonde hair and blue eyes. I told him dating Kat might not be the best idea. After lunch, I went up to Kate and told her what she was doing is wrong and asked her not to do this to my friend. She laughed it off and said it's okay, he won't find out. I stayed quiet for a while, but eventually told Ben he should seriously stop dating Kate. He said he figured I'll try to break them up because I'm jealous. Man, I was disgusted before finally saying to not come crying to me when he realizes Kate is only dating him so another man's baby could have a father. I stopped talking to Ben shortly after, and everything was relatively peaceful in the office. That was until Kate announced she's pregnant. I could see the color drain from Ben's face as he looked in my direction. A huge fight broke out between the two of them after Ben demanded a paternity test while Kate tried to convince him it wasn't necessary. Kate called me later screaming that I ruined her life, so my guess is they broke up. The thing is, they really do deserve each other, so I'm starting to wonder whether I made the right decision by telling Ben the truth. If I hadn't, they probably would have gotten married and the baby would have had a loving father to look after him.
My neighbor is racist. Story time. So this is my doggy Barbie. Isn't she so cute? She's a rescue. Say hi. So on the top of my building, there's a dog park, and me and Barb decided to go. And most times when we go up there, of course, there's other people, so we talk, my dog plays with their dog, you know, whatever. Well, today when we went up there was an older lady with her dog, kind of looked like Barbie, but it was white. And she comes up to us and she starts talking to me, and she's really nice at first. Like, she's asking me about my dog, I'm asking her about hers. And she was like, your dog looks like another animal. So in my mind, I'm thinking she's about to tell me that my dog looks like Toto from Wizard of Oz, because everybody else says that. But no, she looks at my dog and goes, she kind of looks like a monkey. A monkey? But then she's like, just like her dad, huh?
My brother and sister never let me play with them, and after I found out the reason, I never wanted to play with them. So me, my brother Mark, and my sister Rachel were all adopted out of the system. I was 9, my sister was 10, and my brother was 12. Once we got settled in our new lifestyle, they would always play without me. They would go outside without me, they would go swimming without me, snack time without me, everything without me. So I told my new mother how left out I felt. She told me to just go ask them, what are you guys playing and why don't you let me play? So I took her advice and I went to ask them. They were like, oh, the game is scary and you're not going to want to play. And you can only play it under the covers. And you know you're scared of the dark. So I went and I told my new mother what they told me. Her jaw dropped and her eyes enlarged. She told me to stay there and sit on the couch. She then sneaks into their room and snatches the blanket off of them. They all started screaming and my mother was like, what the heck is going on in here? So I ran behind her just to see something our parents have probably all done. If you get what I'm saying. My brother then goes, you know what? We tried to keep it a secret as long as possible, but we can't. We're dating. And if you don't like it, then you can put us back in the system.
Recently, there has been like a string of robberies in one same house. And the scary thing is they're not even doing it like at night or whatever. Like, this is happening during the day and nobody knows like who it is. It's like an older lady that lives in there and they keep coming back to steal like more and more from her. And like, she really can't do anything. You know, she's been telling us that she's like scared because she can't defend herself. The police is not helping her out. Like, they were like, we really can't even do a police report because nothing happened to you. You don't know who they are. Like, I just don't want the situation to like escalate and they end up doing something to her, you know, or hurting her because they keep coming back. So I just have a feeling that they're like, oh, we could take advantage of her. Let's just keep coming here until like nothing's left. Or after everything's done, they like come to our house. We don't even have the luxury to have like a car garage for our truck. You know what I mean? Like, it stays out there. Anybody could just come